Some video games can be chill. You're just walking around, minding your own business, maybe taking in the scenery. And then something happens. One line of dialogue, one story beat, and the whole thing just gets flipped on its head.
The attack.
Suddenly, the world is in peril. You're fighting for your life, and the quiet little game you were playing a minute ago is just a distant memory. And of course, just like the title says, those are the games we're talking about today. As always, I'm Daniel, and today, 10 games that go from 0 to 100 in a second. Starting off at number 10 is Alien Dark Descent. Now, this game, it has one of the best opening fakeouts I've seen in a long time. It starts, and you're not a badass colonial marine or anything like that. You're playing as Mako Hayes, a deputy administrator on the Pioneer Station. It's a desk job, basically. The game presents itself almost like a management sim. You're looking at schematics, dealing with comms, and your biggest problem is a delayed cargo shipment that's causing some logistical headaches. The vibe is very corporate, very sterile. You're just doing your job. And then, the cargo container. In a single, terrifying moment, the game reveals what was in that container, an alien xenomorph. And it doesn't just suggest it, it shows you. The alarms start blaring, the comms fill with screams, and the game instantly transforms. You go from clicking through menus to watching security cameras as this perfect organism tears through the station. Your perspective shifts, and suddenly you're thrust into command of a squad of Marines, making life or death tactical decisions in real time. It's this brilliant bait and switch. The gameplay completely changes from a slow, methodical opening to this incredibly tense, squad-based RTS where every sound, every movement could mean the end for your Marines. That the stress it puts on you as the commander and as the player is immense. One minute you're worried about paperwork, and the next you are desperately welding doors shut, setting up sentry guns, and trying to keep your squad's heart rates down before they have a full-blown panic attack. It doesn't just ramp up the tension, it throws you off a cliff. All right, next up at number 9 is Returnal. This one is just a masterclass. It's a masterclass in atmospheric whiplash. The game opens with you, Celine, crash landing your ship, Helios, on this forbidden alien planet called Atropos. When you first take control, it's quiet, almost peaceful in a really eerie, unsettling way. The environment is dark, dripping with rain, and filled with these strange, silent alien structures. It feels like a third-person exploration game, a walking simulator with a sci-fi skin. You're just investigating. You're scanning things, listening to Celine's logs, trying to piece together what's going on. The stakes feel low. The danger feels distant. You think you're easing into it. And then you walk into your first real room. And then the game just explodes instantly. One of those little alien turret things pops out of the ground, or a pack of those bat-like creatures lunges at you, and the screen just fills with this beautiful, terrifying barrage of neon orbs. The slow, atmospheric music is replaced by this heart-pounding, synth-heavy combat track. You go from a slow, methodical walk to this frantic, lightning-fast dash for your life. It's a third-person shooter, sure, but it's really a bullet hell game in disguise, and it reveals its true nature in a single, chaotic second. But that's not even the real 0 to 100 moment. The real moment comes when you die, and when you do, you don't just reload a checkpoint. You get a glitched-out cutscene, and you wake up right back at your crashed ship. The cycle begins again. That's when it hits you. The game goes from a story of survival to a story of inescapable psychological torment. The quiet walk away from your ship is no longer a moment of discovery, it's a moment of dread, because now you know what's waiting for you, and you know that death is not the end, it's just the beginning. Again. It's a brutal, brilliant reveal that completely reframes the entire experience. Coming in at number 8 is Hotline Miami. This game has a really unique loop that is the very definition of this list. It starts quietly, Each level begins with you, this unnamed guy, waking up in your apartment. You get these weird, cryptic messages on your answering machine, giving you an address and a vague instruction like do some pest control or babysit some kids. So you drive there. The music is this incredible, pulsing synthwave track that's just building this sense of dread. You get out of your car and you stand outside the building. You choose an animal mask to wear. Each one gives you a little different perk. And in this moment, it's a puzzle game. You're looking at the building, you're seeing the patrol patterns of the enemies inside. It's quiet, it's methodical, it's just you and the mission. You die in one hit, they die in one hit. There's no room to breathe. It becomes pure instinct, pure reaction. You're chaining kills, throwing weapons, using the environment, all in this split-second twitchy gameplay that demands perfection. You're carefully planning your approach, and the next you're throwing a lead pipe at a guy's head, grabbing his shotgun and blowing away 2 more before you even have time to think. It's the perfect example of a game that exists in 2 states: the eerie calm of the setup and the sheer explosive violence of the execution. There is absolutely nothing in between. All right, coming in at number 7 is Doom 2016. And you could easily slot Doom Eternal right here too. They both absolutely get it. When this game came out, the shooter landscape was all about taking cover, reloading, peeking around corners, all very tactical and grounded. And then Doom just kicked the door down. It has this incredible, unapologetic contempt for slowing down, and it establishes that philosophy in its opening moments. There's a famous bit where a character tries to deliver some exposition over a monitor, and the Doomslayer just shoves it aside, doesn't even listen. That right there is the game making a promise to you, the player. It's this unspoken agreement that nothing, not the story, not cutscenes, not reloading, will ever get in the way of the action. And this idea is hardwired into its very soul through the push-forward combat system. The game is designed to force you from 0, a state of being near death, out of ammo, to 100, which is being right in a demon's face, literally ripping and tearing to get your health and ammo back. It constantly creates these desperate, frantic scrambles that are just pure adrenaline. It's a game that doesn't just have one 0 to 100 moment at the beginning. Its entire design is built around forcing you to live in that explosive transition from 1 second to the next.
At number 6, we've got Enter the Gungeon. Now, this is a roguelike, and like a lot of games in that genre, you have a central hub. Here, it's called The Breach. It's your little safe space. There are no enemies. You can talk to the NPCs you've rescued. You can unlock new guns and items for future runs. You can, just chill out for a minute. It's your moment to breathe, to strategize, to think about what you're going to do differently this time. It is completely, totally 0. But when you step into that big, ominous elevator, you select a character and you hit go. The second those elevator doors open on the first floor, the switch just flips. There's no gentle introduction. The room comes alive with enemies that are, well, they're bullets that shoot guns, that fire more bullets. It is immediate and it is overwhelming. The screen just fills with projectiles, all these different patterns you have to weave through. It's a twin-stick shooter, but really, it's a bullet hell game at its heart. Your entire existence boils down to 3 things: shooting, flipping tables over for temporary cover, and that all-important dodge roll. That dodge roll is your move, honestly. That split second of invincibility is everything. And because it's a roguelike, this isn't a one-time shock. This is the loop. You have this insane, high-octane run where you're just barely surviving, then you die, because you're definitely going to die a lot. But when you do, you're kicked right back to the breach, back to the calm, back to 0. The contrast between the absolute chaos of the Gungeon and the quiet safety of the hub it's so stark. And it makes that transition, that leap of faith back into the Gungeon, even more intense every single time you do it.
At number 5 is Dead Space. You're Isaac Clarke, and the game makes it very, very clear that you are an engineer. You are not a soldier, you are not a Marine, you're basically a space mechanic on a repair mission. Your first objective when you board the derelict mining ship, the USG Ishimura, isn't to clear out aliens. It's to run diagnostics on a computer terminal. The ship is dead. It's dark. It's silent, except for the humming of machinery and the creaks of a ship that's been through something awful. For the first, 15, 20 minutes, it's all atmosphere. It's a ghost story. You're just walking, following your team, your flashlight cutting through the oppressive darkness. The tension is building, sure, but it's a slow burn. You're waiting for the jump scare, you're waiting for something to happen, but the game goes from this slow burn sci-fi horror mystery into a desperate, panicked fight for your life in a single second. And the genius of it is that the game doesn't give you a nice little tutorial on how to fight. It teaches you its most important rule: cut off their limbs, while you are actively screaming and backpedaling away from this horrifying creature made of reanimated limbs. The entire tone, pace, and objective of the game changes in that one terrifying encounter. It's just a masterclass in pacing. At number 4 is Spelunky 2. The original Spelunky is a legend in the indie scene, one of the games that really defined the modern roguelike. This sequel takes everything that was great about the first one and adds another layer of insane complexity. The premise is that you're playing as the daughter of the original hero, exploring these procedurally generated caves on the moon to find your parents. The thing about Spelunky 2 is that every single run, every single level starts at a perfect, beautiful 0. But the reason this game is on the list is because of its world design. Everything in Spelunky is part of a single interconnected system. Enemies, items, traps, even the terrain, it all follows a consistent set of physics rules. And what that means is that any action can have these completely unpredictable ripple effects that just cascade outwards. So the 0 to 100 moment isn't some big scripted story beat. It's the moment you throw a rock to set off an arrow trap, but you don't account for the way it's going to bounce, and suddenly that rock hits a shopkeeper on the other side of the level, and in that instant, the entire level erupts. You go from a cautious platformer to a desperate scramble for your life as this immortal shotgun-wielding madman hunts you through a level that's already trying to kill you. It's this brilliant systemic design that means the game can go from total calm to absolute pandemonium, not because of a script, but simply because you made one tiny, tiny mistake. Next up at number 3 is Ready or Not. This one's a different kind of beast altogether. It's a tactical shooter where you play as a SWAT team leader, and it's built on this foundation of just oppressive, almost unbearable tension. See, the 0 in this game is about 99% of your playtime. You start in the briefing room, you're meticulously planning your entry route with your squad, you're choosing your gear, less lethal, full-on assault, it all depends. It's all very slow and kind of deliberate. The entire experience is built around immersion and realism. The levels themselves are these really believable, often claustrophobic environments. A grimy apartment complex, a sprawling mansion, a grimy data center, and it's quiet. Almost too quiet, you know? Gunfire in this game isn't a power fantasy, it's terrifying. You can't just absorb bullets. A couple of shots and you're down. There's no regenerating health, no heroic last stand. It's just over. It forces you to be patient, to communicate with your team, and to actually respect the rules of engagement, because you can't just go in guns blazing. You have to shout for compliance, you have to try and de-escalate, but you also have to be ready for anything. I mean, it's titled Ready or Not, so this isn't an arcade shooter. A couple of well-placed shots and you're dead. The firefights are brutal, fast, and incredibly lethal. The entire game lives in that razor-thin margin between methodical police work and just absolute bloody pandemonium. And that switch can be flipped at any moment. That's what makes it so brilliant and so utterly stressful. Just a phenomenal immersive experience if you're looking for a true tactical challenge.
So next up at number 2, we've got XCOM 2. Now when it comes to turn-based tactics games, Firaxis are kind of the masters, right? And XCOM 2 is, for my money, their masterpiece. What's so brilliant about its setup is that it completely flips the script from the first game. It assumes you lost the war. The aliens won, they've taken over Earth, and they've established this creepy, sanitized, authoritarian regime. You're not a well-funded global defense force anymore. You are a ragtag guerrilla resistance movement, living on a stolen alien ship called the Avenger. The game is split into these two amazing layers. You've got the strategic layer, the geoscape, where you're flying around the globe making these really tough decisions. You're trying to contact other resistance cells, you're deciding which research project to focus on, all while this doomsday clock called the Avatar Project is constantly ticking up in the background. It creates a sense of pressure. You are always on the back foot, always struggling to keep up. But then there's the tactical layer, the turn-based missions, and this is where the game becomes the 100. You drop your squad of soldiers into these dense, complex maps, and it's all about using cover, flanking, and combining your soldiers' abilities in just the right way. And the thing is, you get so attached to your soldiers. You customize them, you give them nicknames, you see them rank up from a terrified rookie to this absolute badass. But permadeath is the core of XCOM, and it is absolutely brutal. There is nothing more gut-wrenching than a soldier you've had since the very beginning dying because you made one stupid move. And that's before we even talk about missing a 95% shot from point-blank range. If you've played XCOM, you know that pain. It's this perfect, brutal, and incredibly rewarding loop that just creates the most amazing stories of triumph and failure. And finally, at number 1 is Infamous. Now, this one's a bit of a special case. This is a classic from the PS3 era, a game that really defined open-world superhero games for a lot of people. And what's interesting is that, well, while this game doesn't let you play in the zero phase, the entire experience is built around the idea of going from 0 to 100 in a second. The game starts with the 100. You don't get a slow buildup of who Cole McGrath is. The opening cutscene is the event. He's a regular bike courier, he delivers a package, and that package, the Ray Sphere, detonates. It levels 6 square blocks of Empire City, kills thousands, and you, the player, wake up in the middle of the crater with a new set of electricity-based superpowers. The game begins in the immediate chaotic aftermath. There is no before. And this idea is baked into everything. The city is quarantined, gangs have taken over, it's a disaster zone from the moment you take control. But the real genius is in the core mechanics. Your health and your powers are tied to electricity. When you take a lot of damage or use a bunch of powerful moves, you can feel Cole getting weaker. The screen gets desaturated, his attacks are feeble, you're basically at 0. You feel vulnerable. But if you see a car to latch on and start draining it, in seconds you go from being on the verge of death to a living conduit of electrical energy, ready to call down a lightning storm. The entire gameplay loop is built on these constant, rapid fluctuations. It's the fundamental, second-to-second experience of what it feels like to be Cole McGrath. It's a fantastic superhero sandbox that just perfectly captures that feeling of explosive power. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and also turn on the notification. Don't forget to drink water and get some sun. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.